Hey peeps, it's Tripl-L, and today I'm here to talk about a question that creeps up every generation of Pokemon. Every time a new generation is introduced, that question gets a little bit more loud in the back of your mind. It's there, but let's just talk about it. The question: when the heck is Pokemon going to end? Like, my god, it's been like 21 years. Wow, who would have? Has it been 21 years? 1995 to now, yeah. Whatever. Anyway, it's been around for a while, and but guys, come on, let's put the fan passion away for a moment and let's just be real here. Let's just talk. Let's just get to the root of it all. Look, the Pokemon fandom is a very passionate fandom. It's a passionate fandom that exists in a cold, cynical, hard world. The same world where Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild has not been released yet, where Ash Ketchum lost yet another league, and where Philly D might not be getting his videos monetized. It's a cruel, cynical world, and we gotta be real about this. It's simple enough. Pokemon's never going to end. Nothing short of total global destruction is going to stop Pokemon, okay? Look, that's just the fact of the matter. It's never going to end. It's always going to be there. That's the simple answer. It will never end. Now, there's a very simple reason for this, and that's Pokemon prints a lot of money. It is ridiculous how successful Pokemon is. Like I said, the passionate fan base. The thing about passion is you add money to the passion and it's a giant inferno. It'll take over the world. So really, what this comes down to is Pokemon will never end because there is still profit to be had. So long as there is a world where Pokemon can profit, no one's going to be in a rush to end it. But that isn't to say that we may not get special kind of movement within Pokemon as it goes into the future. And this whole discussion is based on we as a people getting past the American 2016 elections and everything going okay, and Yellowstone not imploding on us. That is what this discussion is totally relying upon. But anyway, let's just talk about this. Look, Pokemon is produced by a business. Pokemon has succeeded very well in the marketplace for the last 20 years. There's no real reason for anyone, Nintendo especially, to want to cut that out. And we've seen that Nintendo in particular, they're very good at maintaining their franchises over a long period of time. But that's not to say that the actual developers, Game Freak, might not get kind of fatigued of what's going on with Pokemon. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because even though Pokemon will always have money thrown at it, even if Pokemon has different developers working on various titles for it, all the say in what happens to Pokemon really comes back down to Game Freak and I guess Nintendo by extension. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is because Game Freak's been doing interesting things with this generation, and one of the things I'm really thinking about is the Alola forms. The Alola forms are pretty much, so far, have just been all the Gen 1 Pokemon coming back, and they're being used in brand new ways. What this says to me, well, it may suggest, just maybe, that Game Freak's getting a little bit tired of developing Pokemon. And I don't want to say this in a very negative way. Even when I say tired, it's really loose. But the thing is, if you think about it, those Alola forms could have very much have been entirely new Pokemon. All that's linking them to the old Pokemon is the base design. And so it's a very interesting scenario we get here, because now we're effectively getting all these oldie Pokemon, all the Gen 1 Pokemon coming back in their new outfits. Now, you could say this is a way of Game Freak kind of paying homage to past fans. You could say this is a way of trying to get them back. But Game Freak already did that with Mega Evolutions, or they already tried to do that with Mega Evolutions. I really think this is more on Game Freak's part, them going in the offense and just being like, hey guys, what if we just bring back old Pokemon and just give them new stuff? Because look, you have to think of it this way. Pokemon did start off from a very innocent base. It was initially some kooky kids going out and catching bugs, and then that hobby turned into a passion later on in life, and they made a game based around the experience of catching bugs. It's got a passionate base, so I do want to think that the majority of the Game Freak developers, if they're still the same ones from the first generation, they might have a soft spot for the first batch of Pokemon that they ever made, and them going back to Gen 1 is really just them kind of acknowledging their roots, or just yearning for their roots in my eyes. It's just paying respect to that. There's nothing stopping Game Freak from revisiting Pokemon in whichever way they like. It's their property. They can do whatever they want with it. But I really do wonder, from a developer point of view, wouldn't you get tired of always working on the same property over and over? And to a bigger extent, what does that mean for the future of Pokemon? Now, what I'm thinking is, even if Pokemon never ends, because money will always be thrown at Pokemon, even if tons of games come out, there may be situations where, or we may be going into a future where Pokemon just isn't released as often, or new generations aren't released as often. And what would that look like? That'd be pretty crazy. Generation 8 I think is still gonna happen because they're gonna probably want to hit 1,000 Pokemon. But after that, can you imagine 10 years down the line? And or no, let's go further. 25 years down the line, how many Pokemon generations can you get in that? It'll be crazy to reach a day where there's over 3,000 Pokemon. But at the same time, that's a future that could very much happen, right? But then there's other things that we have to keep in mind for the future of Pokemon, and that's that the people that make it are not immortal. They're going to die. Like, that's one thing that everyone can agree on doing. It's that. So when you consider that, now think about the possibility of the day that Ken Sugimori isn't there anymore, the initial Pokemon designer. Is that when Pokemon ends for a lot of people? Because his designs won't be what's going to be used anymore. And that's a scary thought, to think that the guy who's been responsible for the majority of the Pokemon designs up till now isn't around anymore. But that's a very potential future in 25 years. So what am I trying to say in this discussion? Well, it's that even if there's a world where Pokemon may never end, the people behind Pokemon will. And that will make very fundamental changes. And in all honesty, I could very much see a future where we end up just having a lot of Pokemon games, just reusing the same batch of Pokemon we already have. Maybe they're set in new regions, using Pokemon in new ways, but we skip out on just totally having a whole batch of new Pokemon. Would that be okay? I think so. I think that'd be fair. Pokemon, it's going to be very interesting to see how this kind of franchise survives in the next couple of years. And I want you guys to take note of this, because this is the first time that we're going to be dealing with a franchise like Pokemon, whose gimmick was introducing new Pokemon every so number of years. How is that type of franchise going to work when we actually go into the future? And it's a really interesting time to live in because of that. I can't put into words the feeling of awe I have when I consider watching Pokemon continue to mature as a franchise as it goes into maybe its 30th anniversary or whatever. Anyway, peeps, I feel like I'm going to start rambling soon, so let's just end this video right now. The overall message that I'm saying in this video is that no, I do not think Pokemon will ever end. It's too successful to end. It's too successful to be allowed to end. I do think Game Freak might change how they proceed with Pokemon, how they proceed with their patterns, how they develop new Pokemon games. And the idea of playing Pokemon 50 years from now is a pretty incredible idea. I could not imagine that future, but I really want to. Anyway guys, let's end it there. Thanks for watching. Until next time, have a good day.